All right, shalom, 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 brothers and sisters, your brother Kazakia. We're continuing along in our series called Esau is Not the White Man. This is a response video to a response from Mr. Potato Head. I don't know his name, so he called me Oldbottle, so I'm going to call him Mr. Potato Head, right? Now, this is a continuation, so we're going to go ahead and get started in this video. So he's going to start and I'm going to stop. I got points I'm going to make. Let's go.
And we went into history and we brought up the Idumeans and we brought up those busts. And on this thumbnail, you see two different busts of two different Idumeans, which they come from the house of Esau.
So now he's not, he didn't offer any proof of that. He just made a blanket statement. So that's his belief that the Romans are Esau. Now, of course, I always challenge them because they say that because, they're claiming that they got some secret knowledge. We're going to cover that in this, but the Talmudists are the ones that said Esau is wrong. Okay. So he's saying he got the Bible. Okay. Let's continue.
It's recorded in history that the Idumeans were Edomites and they was white people. It's recorded in history that Philip of Macedonia, when you go down through the line, he went back to King Agag, Alexander the Greek, and Philip of Macedonia and King Agag, they were all Edomites.
Okay, so now he said it's recorded in history. All right. So Mr. Potato Head, I need receipts of that. You said it's recorded in history. Now, don't flip the script and say the history is the Bible, because you already flipped and you twisted it to make him be Idumean. You said specifically it's recorded in history. So where in history is it recorded? Oh, I forgot. The Bible. That's your answer. I'm sure that's your answer. Let's continue.
They come from that same line. You ain't gonna never find that source. You gotta go, your source gotta be the scriptures. Cause see who the Edomites are, it's a secret. Just like it's a secret who the Israelites are.
Now stop for a second. He said you're not gonna find any source, right? That was what initially started me. This is what started the whole thing. I posted a TikTok video and I was specific with my request. I said, I'd like to see proof from the sources that you all quote. That's what I said. He going to take my words and twist it. I didn't ask for a link or nothing. I said, I want to see from the resource that you all quote. Now, if he's not using a source to quote, then that's on him. So this video wasn't even addressed to him. This video was addressed to all of the Hebrew Israelites that always read from Modern Jewelry, William Smith's Dictionary of the Holy Bible, Esau, who is Esau, Edom, Rome, the Empire, the Edomites, and a few others are out there that they quote. And then one guy even had the nerve to say that Jewish Encyclopedia says modern Jewry is Rome, and I've asked for that. Where's that at? Because I have the Jewish Encyclopedia and I haven't found it. So I didn't ask for you to do a lesson on who Esau is. I asked for a source that you guys quote. So apparently you don't have a source that you quote. So this video really shouldn't have gotten to your hands. It's for those that quote those sources. That's who I was really addressing. But somebody sent you my video and you felt the need to teach me who Esau is, and you still haven't proved it. Let's continue.
It has been, right? This is Matthew 13:33.
So I also want to say, he said Esau's a secret. No, he's not. Just like Israel's a secret. Israel's not a secret either, right? Just like you use the scripture to identify Israel through prophecy. You use the scripture to identify Esau through prophecy, through first to history. And then once we went into captivity, and once the Gentiles came into the picture that you call Esau, that's when things got gray. But if you follow the movement of the people, and that's the reason why I believe DNA actually helps to support that we Israel. But you Israelites, you hate DNA because you're so afraid that DNA is going to show you that you got some Edomite blood, as you call them. So you don't believe in DNA. And because that DNA is going to cause your whole 12 tribes chart to be proven false. Because you can't claim whole nations of people and say, this tribe is over here, this tribe is over there, right? So, no, it's not a secret. It is a actual fact that can be proved. And additionally, even from references, I could give you references where we use references, secular references that prove that people know who we are, right? Just like references that will tell you who Esau is. Other references that say he merged, he blended in with the modern Jewry, right? Some of that is true. Some of that is hogwash. Okay, let's continue.
3. Another parable spake he unto them. The kingdom of heaven is likened to leaven, which a woman took and hid in 3 measures of meal till the whole was leavened. All these things spake Yahushua unto the multitude in parables, and without a parable spake he not unto them, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet, saying, I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter things which have been kept secret from the foundation of the world. And these devils, they didn't want us to know they're the Edomites. They did everything they could to hide the fact that they were Esau, Edom. You ain't going to go to no source where they're going to admit it. Now, he said that these Talmudists say that Esau was Rome, right?
Wait a minute. I don't mean to laugh. He said Talmudist. It's Talmudist. He said Mudist. It's Talmudist. Okay, all right. Go ahead.
Right. Well, they have said that. But they also stated that in the same Jewish encyclopedia that modern Jewry is Edom. And we know for a fact that...
So, you said that in the Jewish encyclopedia. Could you please screenshot the source? And in your next upload, screenshot the source where it says Esau's modern Jewry in the Jewish encyclopedia, because I haven't found it yet. Okay? Maybe you got it in another volume. Because one brother said volume 41 under Esau. Volume 5, page 41. I looked at volume 5, page 41. I read it over and over again. I couldn't find modern Jewry is Edom. Okay, so maybe that came from another source, and maybe y'all getting y'all sources twisted, right? Let's continue.
The people in Israel, right, those same Talmudists that he talked about, they are Edomites, and it's recorded in the scriptures that they would take over the Holy Land. Let's go there real quick.
Okay, so he's going to prove that the scripture says that the modern Edomites are going to take over the Kodesh. I don't say holy, Kodesh land. Let's continue.
Ezekiel 36:5. Therefore saith the Lord power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession, with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds, to cast it out for a prey. Right.
Okay, so now, I guess his point of contention is that that's talking about today's time, as in the 19th or 19th, 20th century, I should say, 20th century, 1948. Okay. No, that's not what it's talking about, because I'm going to show you where that took place, right? Where they appointed the land, right? Now, let's do this real quick. Okay, so what I want to do is that when you talk about Obadiah talks about Esau, right, taking Israel into slavery, we're going to show you that that's not talking about the transatlantic slave trade, okay? We're going to show you when that happened, because you can't make Esau be the Caucasians and make that prophecy fit the Caucasian. That is a different scenario, right? Okay, now, so what I want to do is I want to go to, first I want to start with 2 Kings, right? We're going to read a little bit, and then I'm going to go to hook, line, and sinker. So let's go to 2 Kings chapter 16, and we're going to start, this is during the reign of Ahaz, right? It says in the 16th year, let's do this in the regular King James, so I won't have to fool with the numbers here. In the 16th year of Pekah, the son of Remaliah, Ahaz, the son of Jotham or Jotham, king of Yehuda, began to reign. So there you have Ahaz, right? Okay. 20 years old was Ahaz when he began to reign. So he was a kid, right? Okay. And reigned 16 years in Jerusalem, and did not that which was right in the sight of Yah, his Elohim, like David his father. But he walked in the way of the kings of Israel, yes, and made his sons to pass through the fire, according to all the abominations of the heathens whom Yah had cast from before the children of Yasharel. And he sacrificed and burnt incense in the high places and on the hills and under every green tree. Okay, so he had that Christmas tree up there before our time, right? Worshiping under the trees. 5. Rezin, king of Syria, and Pekah, son of Remaliah, king of Israel, came up to Jerusalem to war. So here's what I want you to see. Now, 2 Kings is not going to show you. I'm going to go and show you when Esau actually fulfills that prophecy of Obadiah. Okay, now. Rezin, king of Syria, and Pekah, son of Remaliah, king of Israel, came up to Jerusalem. So you have the king of Syria, right? And Pekah, son of Remaliah, king of Israel, came up to Jerusalem to war. And they besieged Ahaz, but could not overcome him. At that time, Rezin, the king of Syria, recovered Elath to Syria and drove the Yehudim from Elath, and the Syrians came to Elath and dwelt there unto this day. Right. So that's Elath or Elat. Right. Now I'm going to show you on the screen so you can see where it is. Okay. Now I'm going to teach you a little something, right? So this is Google Earth, and we're going to put in here Elat, Israel. And watch how it zooms in. It's going to take you there. Okay. So there it is right there. Okay, that's Elat. Okay, now, if we zoom out, we'll see where Elat is. Okay. Now, I want to show you something real quick. I want to show you, so you see Elat right there, right? That's the southern part of Israel. So now, I want to show you Syria, right? So, let's see if I can zoom out. Okay, let's do it this way. Let's do directions. Okay. Okay, so now I want you to see the distance, right? So this, you'll see here, that's Syria, and where the blue dot, that's Elat, or Elath as it says, right? So that's a good distance, right? So the king of Syria came down here and took over this territory. Why did he take this territory over? Because they wanted the trade. Because that's where the money was. See? You see Elat right here. We bring it in. There it is right there. See? See the water? They wanted to trade. Right? And that's the reason why they was down there. You can see the the Sea of Reeds. Okay. Now, I just wanted you to see that. Okay. So now let's go back to the text. All right. So now, Rezin, king of Syria, and Pekah, son of Remaliah, king of Israel, came up to Jerusalem to war, and they besieged Ahaz, right? So that was the king of Syria, and Remaliah, the king of Israel, right? That's the northern kingdom, came up to fight against the southern kingdom, Jerusalem, right? So if we go back to our map, right? And so we see Elat, right? We zoom out. We see Syria up there, right? And here's Jerusalem. It's in the middle, right? So they came all the way down from Syria down here to Jerusalem to battle, to take the land over here where they could occupy trade and go to places beyond. See that? Because they can go all the way down there and go over here. If you zoom in, zoom out, right, you'll see that's Iran over there. You have all of this territory, right? That's where a lot of trade money was, right? So they wanted that real estate so they can dominate this trade down here. All this money, all these people over here populating in those lands. So now let's go back to the scripture. So we see that. So now I'm setting up the stage so you can see the fulfillment of prophecies right now, because my brother doesn't know Israelite history because he wanted to make prophecies to be 2,000 years later, right? Now, so that's what happened. Verse 6 says, at that time, Rezin, king of Syria, recovered Elat to Syria and drove the Israelites, the Yahudim, from Elat and the Syrians came to Elat and dwelt there unto this day. Right? So Ahaz sent messengers to Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, saying, I am thy servant and thy son. Come up and save me out of the hand of the king of Assyria and out of the hand of the king of Israel, which raised up against me. So now what I want to do is that doesn't show. Now something happened after that as a result of that, right? Okay. So what I'm going to show you is if we go to 2 Chronicles chapter 28, right? So let's go to 2 Chronicles chapter 28. And we're gonna see a part of the story that was missing, right? So 2 Chronicles chapter 28, verse 17. We're gonna go to let's do this here before we hit that verse. Let's go up, okay? Let's go up here. Let's start right here, okay? Verse 1. It said Ahaz was 20 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 16 years in Jerusalem, but he did not that which was right in the sight of Yah. So we read that already in 1 Kings, right? 2 Kings, right? For he walked in the ways of the kings of Israel, and made also molten images for Baalim. Moreover, he burnt incense in the valley of the son of Hinnom, and burnt his children in the fire after abominations of the heathens, whom Yah had cast out before the children of Israel. He sacrificed also and burnt incense in the high places and on the hills and under every green tree. So we read that part, right? So that adds up, right? That adds up with the last one. Let's continue. And wherefore Yah his Elohim delivered him into the hand of king of Assyria. So we read that part, right? And they smote him and carried away a great multitude of them captives and brought them to Damascus. And he was also delivered into the hand of the king of Israel, who smote him with great slaughter. So what I'm trying to get you to see is this here, right? These are prophecies that's being fulfilled of Israel's captivity. And we're going to show you Idumea or Esau's hand in that, right? So now we see here that the king of Syria, right? Go back in. It says, Yah delivered them into the hand of the king of Syria, and he smote him and carried away a great multitude of them captives, right? And brought them to Damascus. Okay? So where is Damascus? Let's go back to the map here. All right, we're going to put in Damascus. We already know where Damascus is, but I'm just going to show you on the map. So if you go to Damascus, okay. There you go. Zoom right in. See that? There's Damascus right there. So let's zoom out so you can see where Damascus is in Syria, right? All right. It's in the southern part of Syria, right? It's just north of. So these lands here, like you can see here, Amman, all this is the land of territory that's going to be judged. We're talking about judgment. We talked about Tyre in the last video. Tyre, which is way over here somewhere. Let's see if I can zoom in. Okay. Over here. Where is Tyre at? Okay. All right. I'll find it. Let's see. Let's do it. Let's do it like this. Let's do Tyre. Okay, so Tyre's in Lebanon. Okay, so here we go. Right here, it's right. It says here we talks about the entry to the sea, right? So that's Tyre right there, right? So when you zoom out, you'll see it's at the entry of the sea, right? The Mediterranean. There it is, right there, right? So it lines right. So all this territory we talk about Esau, Idumea, the Babylon being judged. We're talking about this. We're not talking about America. We're talking about this region right here, right? Now, what I want to do is I want to go back so we can see Esau's hand in it. Okay, now let's go back to the scriptures. And so it says here, so he carried away a great multitude of them to Damascus, and he was also delivered into the hand of the king of Israel, who smote him with great slaughter. For Pekah, the son of Remaliah, slew in Judah 120,000 in one day. Wow, look at that. Boom. So Pekah, the son of Remaliah, slew in Yehuda 120,000 in one day, which were all valiant men. So that was the military, because they have forsaken Yah, the Elohim of their fathers. Zikri, right? A mighty man in Ephraim slew Manseh, the king's son, and Azurkam, the governor of the house, and Elkanah, that was next to the king. Verse 8. Here's the verse I wanted to read. No, it's not the verse yet. The children of Israel carried away captive their brethren, 200,000 women, sons, and daughters, and took also way much spoil from them, and brought the spoil to Samaria. Okay, you see that? So read that again. So it says the children of Israel carried away captive their brethren. So Israel took Yehudites into captivity, and they took them to Samaria. They took them. So you have the brothers, right, taking their brothers into captivity, right? Now, they took also much spoil from them and brought the spoil to Samaria. Verse 9. But the prophet of Yah was there, whose name was Obed, and he went out before the host that came to Samaria, and said unto them, Behold, because Yah, Elohim of your fathers, was wroth with Yehuda, he hath delivered them into your hand, and you have slain them in a rage that reached up to heaven. 10. And now you purpose to keep under the children of Yehuda and Jerusalem for bondmen and bondwomen unto you, but are they not with you, even with you sins against Yah your Elohim? And he says, Now hear me, therefore, deliver the captives again, which you have taken captive, your brethren, for the fierce wrath of Yah is upon you. So Yah's telling them, look, those are your brothers, man. You can't take them into slavery. So watch what happens here, right? So certain heads of the children of Ephraim, Azariah, and the son of Johanan, Berechiah, and the son of Meshalemoth, and Jehikiah, the J is Y, and the sons of Shallum and Amasa, the son of Hadlai, stood up against them that came from the war, and said to them, you shall not bring in the captives here, for whereas we have offended against Yah already, you intend to add more to our sins and our trespasses, for our trespass is great, and there is fierce wrath against Israel, right? So the armed men left the captives and the spoil before the princes and all the congregation. So we're going to show you, right? Stay tuned. We're going to show you what happened to those captives, right? So the armed men left the captives and spoil before the princes and all the congregation. Verse 15. And the men which were expressed by name rose up and took the captives, and with the spoil clothed all that were naked among them, and arrayed them, and shod them, and gave them to eat, to drink, and anointed them, and carried all the feeble of them upon asses, and brought them to Jericho, the city of palm trees, to their brethren. Then they returned to Samaria. 16. At that time did King Ahaz send unto the kings of Assyria to help him. So we read that in 2 Kings, right? It says, for again the Edomites had come and smitten Yehudah and carried away captives. Look at that. The Edomites came, they smit Judah, and they carried away captives. Now watch what else happens here. The Philistines also had invaded the cities of the Low Countries and of the south of Yehudah, and had taken Beth-Shemesh and Ajalon and Gederoth and Shoko with the villages thereof, and Timnah with the villages thereof, Gizmo also and the villages thereof, and they dwelt there. So you see, so the Philistines, so what happened was Esau helped the Philistines. Esau got involved in the slave trade in Israel, right here where we see it. Yah brought Yehudah low because Ahaz, king of Israel, for he had made Yehudah naked and transgressed sore against Yah. Okay. I messed up here. Let's go back here. He transgressed against Yah. Okay. And then you have Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, came unto him and distressed him and strengthened him not. For Ahaz took away a portion out of the house of Yah and out of the house of the king and the princes, and gave it to the king of Assyria, but he helped him not. See that? Boom, right? So that's Esau. So Esau took Israel into captivity right there in the land of Israel. So we see this prophecy fulfilled. Now, Obadiah prophesied what happened. That's what Obadiah is talking about, right? And shortly after that, the Nabateans came in and kicked Esau out of that land, and then Esau moved into the land. That's what he's talking about when he says you shouldn't have taken the land when they've taken his forces, right? Let's go to Obadiah. I don't want to muff it up. So that was 1 and 11. Obadiah 1 and 11 says, in the day thou stood on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them. See that? So that's what they're saying. That's fulfillment of that prophecy right there That didn't happen in the transatlantic slave trade. See, you're making Obadiah be the transatlantic slave trade when Obadiah prophecy, that prophecy was spoken out of the mouth of the prophet that happened in his day. Okay, now let's go back to the video.
Which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds, to cast it out for a prey. Right. The apostles been through all this stuff and they broke it down. Okay. Right? When you get...
So now he's going to attempt to explain that passage right there, which is the same as Obadiah, which is what we just read in 2 Chronicles, which is when Obadiah's forces came in and took and watched the strangers come when Israel was taken into captivity. In addition to that, I want to also add to that, if you go to 2 Kings, let's go back to 2 Kings again, right? And then we're going to let him do his little NATO thing here a second. So if you go to 2 Kings, right? Chapter 17, we see the captivity. So this is what Obadiah is talking about. He's talking about all of this, right? All of the captivities of Israel that happened during his day, not in the 20th century, not in 1611. So I should say what, 17th century? Right. No, he's talking about what happened in his day. The strangers carried away his forces. That's what he's talking about in Obadiah. He's not talking about the transatlantic slave trade, brother. We can't use that to make Esau be the Caucasians, because that's talking about that period that they lived in, that age, right? Now, so when you go into 2 Kings chapter 17, right? Starting at verse let's start at 15. It says, and they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers, and his testimonies, which he testified against him, that they followed vanity, became vain, and went after the heathens that were round about them, concerning whom Yah had charged them that they should not do like them. And they left all the commandments of Yah, and made molten images, 2 calves, and made groves, and worshiped all the hosts of heaven, and served Baal. Same person. We saw in 16, right? And they left all the commandments of Yah, and made molten images, even 2 calves, and made a grove, and worshiped all the hosts of heaven, and served Baal. And they caused their sons and daughters to pass through the fire, used divination, enchantment, sold themselves to do evil in the sight of Yah, to provoke him to anger. Therefore Yah was very angry with Yasharal, and removed them out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Yehudah only. So we see the northern tribes now, right? And therefore Yah was, and Yehudah kept not the commandments, right? But walked in the statutes of Yasharel, which they made, and Yah rejected all the seed of Yasharel, and afflicted them, and delivered them into the hand of the spoilers, until he had cast them out of his sight. For he rent Yasharel from the house of David, and made Jeroboam the son of Nebat king of Jeroboam, drove Israel from following Yah, and made them sin a great sin. For all the children of Israel walked in the sins of Jeroboam, which he did, they departed not from them, right? Verse 23, okay? And Yah removed Israel, that's the northern tribes, out of his sight, as he did said by the servants the prophets. So was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day, right? So the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, could have Ava, Hamath, Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria, that's Shomron in the Hebrew, instead of the children of Israel, and they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the city thereof. And so it was at the beginning of their dwelling there, that they feared not Yah. Therefore Yah sent lions among them, which slew some of them. Wherefore they spoke to the king of Assyria, saying, the nation which you have removed and placed in the cities of Samaria know not the manner of the Elohim of the land. Therefore he have sent lions among them, and behold, they slay them, because they know not the manner of the Yah of the land. And the king of Assyria commanded, saying, carry thither one of the priests whom you brought from there, and let him go and dwell there, and let him teach them the manner of the Elohim of the land. Right? So I wanted you to see that. So now, when Obadiah is talking about, when Obadiah is talking to Esau or Edom, he's saying, you watch the strangers, right? Take your brothers, your cousins out of the land, right? That's the fulfillment of that, not the transatlantic slave trade. Okay, that's a whole different prophecy. This Obadiah has everything to do with what happened during the days of the kings, right? Now, let's go back to the video.
Get into the prophecy of the beast with the 7 heads and the 10 horns. What does it say? The beast with the 7 heads and 10 horns is NATO. The 7 heads equals 7 governments or kingdoms ruled.
Now that's his doctrine, so I can't see. See, he got Greeks. Okay, British, Germania Minor, Spanish, French, Romans, Germania Major. What is that? Full of blasphemy. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Interesting, right? I'm curious to know what's the difference between Germania Minor and Germania Major. You got some stuff over here: philosophy, religion, idolatry. Over here, you got something else. The beast. The beast with 7 heads and 10 horns is NATO. The 7 heads is 7 governments or kingdoms ruled by Esau. So now, so he equates the Greeks, the Brits, Germans, Spanish, French, Romans, and the German major with Esau. Okay. Now, when you talk about the barbaric Germanic tribes, in their history, because I know what he's going to say. He's going to say, oh, they took the name and put it on themselves. See, I can't compete with that, because you're using a philosophy. I can't compete with philosophy, because you're saying that the Most High showed you that, or showed Tahar that, but I can't compete with that because I have no way to confirm that other than you saying that Most High revealed that to Tahar. Okay? So the Most High revealed to Tahar that Yefeth is not really Yefeth, but Yefeth is really Esau. That's suspect, right? All right. Now, I'm not going to play all of that. Let's just see. Let's play just a little bit more.
By Esau. And they didn't all come from Rome. They were part of the Roman Empire at some point, but they didn't all come from Rome. You got to also realize that Esau moved into places, put the names of places upon himself. That's why you got a confusion with Germany, right? And other places where it says that the son of Gomer, and Gomer came from Japhet and all this, where the original so-called Germans were not white people. Just like the original Japhites were not white people. Esau moved into Japhet's land, and he put the name on himself. He took over. He conquered the lands and put the name on himself. We'll show you that later on. Lord willing, we'll remember to get to it. Now, let's just cover this real quick.
Wait a minute. So I got a question. So he just said that they took over all these lands: Greece, Brit, Germany, Spain, French, Roman, and Germany. He said, and they put the name on themselves. Where are you getting that from? And when you actually study the lands, right? Who named those lands? Because there's no son of Yefeth called Greek. There's no son of Japheth called Brit. Gomer, yeah, Germany is the Hebrew Gomer, okay? There's no son of Japheth called Spain or France, right? Now, Frank is one of the Germanic tribes, the Franks, right? Okay. Romans are separate people from the Germans, right? So where are you getting this information that they took the names? Because it fits your narrative, it's easy to say, oh, they just took the names. But we don't have any proof of that other than you saying it. The Bible don't say he took the names. I mean, that's your interpretation. All right, let's continue.
End time prophecy, the beast with the 7 heads and the 10 horns is NATO. The 7 heads equals 7 governments or kingdoms ruled by Esau. Who do you see? We're starting over from the left. Germania Major. The Romans. The French. Now the Romans were what? Italians, right? Or people that occupy that land, or they're Rome, Rome, Italy. But it's all different kind of Romans, all different kind of islands over there, right?
Okay,
Germania Major, the Romans.
Okay, so let's continue on. I skipped past some of that commentary. Let's see. Let's deal with this here, okay?
Bishop Nate didn't break this down for you. The apostles and elders of GMS were the ones that this sign belonged to, and they broke it down to you. Same with the revelation of the chariots. All you people, you different Israelites talking about the chariots of the Lord. Guess where that revelation came through? Elder Apostle Tahar, whether you know it or not. Oops. Anyway, Amos 3 and verse 7. Surely the Lord power will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets. Right? So the prophets is the ones that got the secret.
So nobody had this secret revealed to them until Tahar. So you want me to believe that nobody knew Esau was the so-called white man until Tahar was birthed? All them years, nobody knew that. Now all of a sudden, the Most High just decided to reveal to Tahar that Esau is the Caucasians. And I'm supposed to believe that? All the people, all the generation that came before him, it sounds like something that Minister Louis Farrakhan would say about the Mahdi. All those years passed by, and now all of a sudden, he got a revelation. All right, let's continue.
He has moved around and tried to hide himself. This is Jeremiah 49 and 8.
So this is supposed to be a verse that says that Esau moved around and hid himself. Okay.
I'm going to start at 7. Concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan, for I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him. If grape gatherers come to thee, will they not leave some gleaning grapes? If thieves by night, they will destroy till they have enough. But I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. So it's in the scripture that this devil will gonna try to hide himself. That's why, and let's go further than that.
I don't think that has nothing to do him hiding his identity. I mean, it's kind of like what we do in the hood, If we broke the law, we kind of go MIA. Don't want nobody to find us. We're not trying to hide our identity and pose as being another ethnic group. So that's kind of stretching that to say that, that his secret places is found. That means he's hiding himself among other people, mixing the seed. That's where you're going with that. But you're adding to that. That doesn't mean that. That's what it means to you, but that's not what the text is saying. The text is not saying he hid himself, right? Okay, let's do this real quick. Okay, so let's look at the text. Let's look at that one verse that he's quoting here. He says, I have made Esau bare, stripped off, naked, It says the word is kasaf. It says for exertion or in disgrace, to drain away or bail up a liquid. So I have made Esau bare, right? I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled. So when you look at it, it says he have uncovered, okay, his secret place. Secret place is the word mitzar, which means it says proper to conceal. A conceal, that is a covert, right? So let's see, what is a covert? So covert, it says not openly acknowledged or displayed, right? Not openly acknowledged or displayed. So that's the meaning of that word, covert, not openly acknowledged. So when he said that his secret places, in other words, him not, it has nothing to do with him hiding his identity. It has to do with him. It's like kind of like the same scenario when Adam transgressed against the law of Yah, and Yah said, Adam, where art thou? That's what he's talking about, the hiding, not acknowledging his transgression against his brother. That's what he's talking about, right? Now, not hiding his identity amongst other people and taking other people's identity. That's what he's trying to make that be. But that's not talking about him hiding his identity. That's his camp doctrine. That's not what the text is saying. All right. Then it says, and he shall not be able to hide himself. So he shall not be able to, this word here, to hide himself, is the word kabah, which means to, it says to secret. His seed, right? His seed, which would be what? Zerah, his children, is what? The word shadah. It says to be burly, that is powerful, impregnable, by implication to ravage. Okay. So his seed is spoiled, shaddad. Okay. And he shall not be able to secret his seed. He shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brother and his neighbors, and he is not. Okay. Now, it's interesting that passage is not in the Septuagint. Okay. If we go to the Septuagint, let's do that. Go to Septuagint and look at this here. You'll see the heading. It says judgment on Edom. Then it says here, it came to pass after 10 days that the word of Yah came to Yirmiyahu, and he called Yohanan and the leaders of the host and all the people from the least even to the greatest. And he said to them, thus saith Yah, if you will indeed dwell in this land, I will build you and will not pull you down, but will plant you and in no wise pluck you up, for I have ceased from the calamities which I brought upon you. He says, be not afraid of the king of Babylon, of whom you are afraid. Be not afraid of him, says Yah, for I am with you to deliver you and to save you out of their hand. And I will grant you mercy and pity you and will restore you to your land. But if you say, we will not dwell in this land, that we may not hearken to the voice of Yah, for we will go to the land of Mizraim, and we shall see no war, and shall not hear the sound of a trumpet. And we shall not hunger for bread, and there will we dwell. Then hear the word of Yah, thus saith Yah. If you set your face towards Egypt or Mizraim and go in there to dwell, then it shall be that the sword which you fear shall find you in the land of Mizraim, and the famine to which you have regard shall overtake you coming after you in Mizraim, and there you shall die. So I don't see where Esau is in this one here. So let's continue to read. No, I don't see. I wonder why it says that, judgment on Esau. we do know that Esau went into Egypt, right? Now, what I want to do, because the last video I said I was gonna give you a bonus, right? Okay, because you said I don't know who Esau is, right? So what I want to do, I'm going to share a link, and this is a portion. This is something that's going to be in my book, right? So I'm generously giving this away for free. Okay, now, matter of fact, I'm not going to give the link. I'm just going to give you the quote. So if you're going to be interested in the reference, you're going to have to purchase the book. Okay, I'm going to read. Okay, now, it says here, it says here, I'll show you my notes here. It says, the Edomites are conquered and dispersed by David, and some of them fly into Egypt with their young king Hadad. Others fly to the Persian Gulf. So when you say, who's Esau, brother? Okay, some of Edomites fled into Egypt. That's why that Brenton's version is talking about Egypt versus Edom. Okay, because Edom took that part of his seed to Egypt. Okay, and they're black. Okay, now, some fly to Egypt with their young king Hadad. Others fly to the Persian Gulf. Okay, so now we got that part. And he says, with their commander Onus, and others from the Red Sea to the coast of the Mediterranean. So you have some that went from the Red Sea to the coast of the Mediterranean. So now, there's a possibility that you could have some Edomites in Greece because they went to the Mediterranean. Okay? But once again, I don't buy that all of the Greeks are Edomites because some Edomites went there, right? You have a whole nation of people there. You can't make all of Greeks Edomites, right? You have his seed somewhere there. He has some of his seed that's among the Greeks and Romans, right? But not the whole nation of people. Okay, so now going further, it says, some fly to the Persian Gulf, others to the Red Sea, to the coast of the Mediterranean, and they fortify Esau against David and take Zidon and the Zidonians. So there you go, Zidonians. So you're talking about Edomites there, and who fled from them to build Tyre, right? So remember when you see the alliance in Psalms 83, talks about Tyre. What have you to do with me, O Tyre and Sidon, right? Those are cousins. Some of them are Hamitic sons of Canaan, and some of them are actually Edomite seed, right, in that land. So now, Tyre and Ardis, it says here, some build Tyre and Ardis and make Ababel. Who was Ababel? Ababel was the king of Tyre. He was who? He was Hiram's. He was the father of Hiram. Who was Hiram? Hiram was the king of Tyre in the days of Shlomo, who helped him to build the temple, right? So Esau went and sojourned with them. So that's where the connection between Tyre, Sidon, right, and the coast of Palestine. We showed you in 2 Kings that the Philistines, in conjunction, in partnership with Esau, took the Israelites into captivity. Okay? It says, these Edomites carried to all places their arts and science, among which were their navigation, astronomy, and letters. For the Idumean, they had consolations and letters before the days of Job. Because you do know that Job was the Edomite, right? As a matter of fact, Obadiah is historically wise, is believed that he was an Edomite. I bet you didn't know that. All right, let's go. So it says, before the days of Job, who mentions them, and there Shemaiah or Moses learnt to write the law in a book. Then it goes on to say, you want to know where the Edomites went? It says, these Edomites fled to the Mediterranean, translating the word Eritrea into that of Phoenicia, and gave the name of Phoenicians to themselves. Let me say that again. The Edomites who fled to the Mediterranean, translating the word Eritrea into that of Phoenicia, give the name Phoenicians to themselves, and that of Phoenicia to all the sea coast of Palestine. Where he said, all the coast of Palestine, there's your Edomites in that mix. Now, let's not confuse the modern Palestinians with the Palestinians of antiquity, because a large percentage of the Palestinians today are part of the new breed that came from the East. They're Persian in origin, right? Iranian, Persian, okay, Japhetic, right? The Medes come from Japhet, okay? Now, so he says Eritrea and the Phoenicians, and that the Phoenicians to all the sea coasts of Palestine, Esau, Zidon, and hence came the tradition of the Persians, of the Phoenicians themselves, mentioned by Herodotus, that the Phoenicians came originally from the Red Sea and presently undertook long voyages on the Mediterranean. Right? So that's it. That was my bonus. Now let's go back to the video. I want to look at a few more of what he had to say, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
Let's go further than that. This is Isaiah 25, verse 7. Right? It says, and he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people. What did this devil do? He cast a covering over all people by doing what? Changing landmarks, chipping the noses off statues, changing the names of places, and saying these people really came from here when they came from over here. We the people of the Bible, just the same way he moved into our land and put his cousins there. See, you people to try to get you, they'll say the people in Israel now, what are they called? Caucasian Jews, but they're not really Jews. They're converts. They were the original Khazarians.
Wait a minute. So now, historically wise, the Edomites converted under Hyrcanus. So are you telling me that they converted again? Because when did they convert? Because the Khazars converted in 700, I think, or 600 or 700 AD. So are you saying that the Edomites that converted in first Maccabees or second Maccabees, which one, I forget which one it is, you're saying that those Edomites reconverted again under Khazar? Why would they have to reconvert if they had converted once? Did they lose their identity or lose the covenant? I need explanation on that one because that doesn't make sense. Let's continue.
But they still Edomites. Khazarians are Edomites. And he would.
So, because you said Khazaris are Edomites, but they connect their history to the Turks. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think I have to pull it out and see. Matter of fact, why don't I do that real quick? Okay, so this is Jewish Encyclopedia Volume 4 on the Khazars. It says, let's just blow this up a little bit, make it easier on my eyes. It says, Khazars, a people of Turkish origin whose life and history are interwoven with the very beginnings of the history of the Jews of Russia. The kingdom of Khazar was firmly established in the most of South Russia long before the foundation of the Russian monarch by the Varangians. Jews have lived on the shores of the Black and Caspian Seas since the first centuries of the Common Era. Okay. So he's saying that they are of Turkish origin, right? So how is it that on your NATO chart, where are Russian people? Are they Germany Minor? Because the Russians are not included in the Germanic tribe. They're included in one of the other sons of Yefeth. So where do they fit in your NATO chart? Because they're not Germanic in origin. Matter of fact, it's believed that they're Gog. Okay. All right. Now, let me bag it up again because maybe I missed something here. Maybe I'm slow. It's getting late. So this is the second take. This is my third lesson in one day.
Cousins there. See, these people to try to get you, they'll say, the people in Israel now, what are they called? Caucasian Jews. But they're not really Jews. They're converts. They were the original Khazarians. But they still Edomites. Khazarians are Edomites. And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people. You know how you cast out your line? You cast out a net? This devil cast a covering over all people and the veil that is spread over all nations. What is a veil? A woman wears a veil to cover her face. And every time we get ready to go to a scripture, it ain't going to always say Esau did this. The Bible is written in code. The Bible is written in code.
The Bible is written in code.
Right? Now,
I don't agree with that. But, to continue along with the teaching of the doctrine you teach, why not? Just say the Bible is written in code. The only people can understand it is GMS. And I don't know what you call him now. Apostle Tahar, I think you call him. Oh, he's the only one. I need to talk to him because I need some answers to some questions. Okay, maybe he can answer them for me, since he's got a special dial tone to the Most High. I don't have that dial tone. Just hey, I need this revelation. Unbelievable, right? Let's continue.
Now, this is Job 24:1. Why, seeing times are hidden from the Almighty, do they that know him not see his days? Who is it talking about? It's talking about the wicked of the whole earth, which is known as Esau. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds.
Hold on a second. So Esau is the only one in the earth that's wicked? What about Israel? What did the Ezra say? Nehemiah, I think it was, say, right? Let me see if I can find it real quick. Okay, one verse I'm gonna give you here because I'm running out of steam here. So let's see. So this is Psalms 106 and 6. 106 and 6, 106 in part. We have sinned with our fathers. We have transgressed. We have done unrighteously. Though that's the Brentons, but King James says we have done wickedly, right? That verse. We have sinned with our fathers. We have committed iniquity. We have done wickedly, right? So that's just one. So you're like you told me, you're making a bad mistake, man. You shouldn't have did that lesson. You shouldn't have did that. Oh, you chill out on you. All right, let's try to wrap this baby up because I'm out of energy. Let's see. Get sleepy now. All right.
When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. They take away your field. They take away your flocks. They remove landmarks. They take over your house. They take over your heritage and say that they you and you another people.
So, I mean, what I'm getting from you is, without going too much further into this, what I'm getting from you is that you're making Esau the only wicked person. Everybody else, because so all these passages is talking about Esau, not talking about anybody else but Esau. Not even disobedient Israelites. Not even talking about disobedient Israelites. It's talking solely about Esau. All these verses you're singling out, right? So, so I'm going to kind of summarize. So right now we're at 10:10. At 11:30, you says Edom put the name Greece on himself, and you use verses to justify that. At 13:30, you said Esau is the daughter of Babylon. At 17:15, you said Babylon is America. Revelation 18:14. And then at the 18-minute mark, you said the fourth beast was Esau, Rome, which is Esau, and your NATO. And then you close with Esau is the end of the world. So I'm going to end the video right there. And because basically I already covered those points that you're making, but every verse that you give to reference that to Esau and judgment, some of the prophecies we covered already that have already happened. Some of the prophecies to Esau in the last days is not talking about America. It's talking about the actual little land of Basra, which you read in the previous video I did. So I'm gonna close there. I'll be on the lookout for more videos. When I have more energy, I'll continue. Right now, I don't really need to continue with this portion of the video. Watch the last one, and I'm going to be looking for more videos from you so I can do more commentary. With that said, I'm out of energy. I'm tired. So until the next time, shalom, shalom, shalom.